Welcome to another episode of Frogs Hollow TV. My name's Toby Cooper, and joining me once again tonight is Geordie Batchelor. How are you, mate?
Good, thanks, Toby. Great to be back, mate.
Not a problem. We're doing things a little bit different tonight as Geordie's away for work, but we have lots to get through. And Geordie, it's been another big month in the off-road world.
Yeah, mate, it's been a massive month, but unfortunately sickness and all that sort of stuff's got to us, so it's good to be back and talking about off-road again.
Looking forward to it. Again, I'd like to acknowledge our incredible Frogs Hollow TV partners and contributors who have made this episode a reality. It's sure to be another cracker. Before we start, it's great to see so many early entries for the upcoming Warrior 200, which is our local event here in New South Wales. And we're expecting a huge field this year, Jord, which will be great. And see there's an interesting entry today, the 50th car.
Yeah, mate, the 50th car, Nugget, is... been down here at work. He's keen, and I'm keen to see him going. And hopefully that 50th entry, it's a good omen for him. I'd like to see him finish. I'd like to see him finish up there, but hopefully he has a good weekend.
It's shaping up to be a tight little battle in the Super 1650 class. We saw 18 on the weekend down the inaugural Class 2 Cup won by Pete Stevenson, but I think we'll have sort of 8 or 9 at Warrior as well, so it's great to see. Also, a shout out to Rainbow Risers 240 champion from the weekend, Glen Pike. There'll be more from that event on our next show. So straight into our first event review for the episode last weekend, St George 399, round 4 of the 2025 ORC. 49 starters, Jordan. Impressively, it was OBR who crossed 1 and 2 once again, with Bo Robinson claiming his first victory since Fink last year.
Yeah, mate, it sounds like we've got a bit of a broken record here, like just OBR every AORC round at the moment, but it's just a roles reverse this week. But hats off to Bo, like he had a really good weekend. He had a good drive, and Trav also, I don't think they had any issues with the cars over the weekend, and just dominance to OBR this year.
Yeah, those Masons are really starting to come to the fore, aren't they? They're showing their might. And, yeah, as you said, ORC completely dominant so far with the OBR team. And Travis did close the gap a little bit on that final lap on Sunday, but just wasn't to be. It was always Bo's weekend. And after Boston, Morgan Horan went out early on that first lap on Saturday afternoon, it was Bo who finished on top over the course of the 5 laps by 28 seconds and sets up that mouth-watering encounter at Kalgoorlie in October between Bo Robinson, Travis, of course, leading the championship, and Jared Percival, who kept his ORC dream alive with a convincing third-place finish. And he was another one, Jord. I mean, in that Element Prodigy, he just continues to be so consistent. His first run in Queensland in his career, and, impressive all weekend.
Yeah, mate, very consistent. And it looked like the car handled it started to run out and get a bit rough towards the end of the weekend. It looks like them elements can handle it, so it'll be a good race over Kalgoorlie.
And Brent Smoothie, it's crazy how the sport works. He hasn't had a finish for 2 or 3 years and had that really confidence-boosting podium down there at the Loveday 400. Brent Smoothie, 4th place, and didn't have the best of runs on Saturday. I know he got caught in a bit of traffic, but, continues his nice run.
Mate, we go on about a week in, week out. Consistency is key, and he's starting to string them together. It's really good to see.
2007 ORC champion Hayden Bentley crossed in 5th, and that's his best ORC finish for some time. Of course, the 2-time Fink champion, one of the veterans now of our sport, and unfortunately his daughter Hannah went out early with engine failure in her two-wheel drive racer. Lachlan Bailey held off Greg Campbell for side-by-side honours, George, by over a minute, with Hank Parker, Chris Sollett and Ross Newman other class winners in Queensland. We watched a lot of the InCar. Obviously, was fortunate enough to be able to call the action over there last weekend. And I mean, Hank Parker, he just continues to finish these ORC events, Jordan. I know you've had some time in an hour Class 5, but the Class 7, the battler, he just keeps on keeping on.
Mate, it seems as old Hank, like the rougher it gets, the quicker he goes. Like the longer the weekend goes, the faster he goes. And hats off to him. Like I've been there and done it in the old Class 5, mate, and it's hard going.
Yeah, hats off to him. We'll see Hank at the Warrior 200 in a few weeks. In other news from the weekend, it was great to see good friends of the show and around the circuit, and also a partner of our Frogs Hollow TV, Glen Ackroyd, and his navigator Mick Price walk away unscathed from their nasty rollover incident over at St George. Never good to see, George. It was a terrible way to start the weekend, to be honest, especially from where we were sitting. I literally looked up from where I was commentating from, and to see the car, the three Can-Am literally somersaulting through the St George terrain was, yeah, really a bitter start to the weekend. But the main thing is they were okay and they walked away.
Yeah, mate, both walked away pretty well unscathed, but like I didn't go across with you. I was over at home watching it on the live stream, and me and the wife and the kids all stopped in awe watching it happen. Like it was pretty big. But yeah, it's good to see they both walked away pretty well unscathed, and hopefully a quick rebuild and back on the track.
Boston Morgan Horan, geez, I mean, what a performance on Sunday. It was 4.5 minutes quicker than any other car. He had that unfortunate diff failure on Saturday afternoon, ending his hopes, but an extraordinary talent, and he's just a pleasure to watch live, mate.
Yeah, it's pretty envious of you actually seeing him live. I'm a bit of a fan of him, but mate, he drives the wheels off that thing, and it was impressive on the live stream, so I can only imagine what it was like being there actually seeing it.
He's just, I don't know, it's just sort of one of those things. And Shannon Wrench's motto, which Travis Robinson's used throughout this season, to finish first you must finish. And I know he's out here to have fun. He's 18 years of age. He only knows one speed. He's got the talent. He's got the truck. But just little things that aren't going against him with the mechanical world. And I'm sure we'll see him on many podiums or top of podiums for years to come, young Boston. And Will Haddock, his navigator. Also a bit of bad luck for Kai Camilleri and Luke Henry. They're only literally kilometres from the finish line. He snapped an axle, went in fifth spot. But a big finish is coming for Kai, and maybe it's this weekend at the Don River Dash.
Yeah, I don't think it's too far away, Tobe. Like they're starting to piece it all together, but geez, that's unlucky finishing, like breaking down that close to the finish line.
Another standout performer was Westlime Motorsport's Sam Commins, a future star of our sport. I caught up with a 15-year-old following his terrific weekend at St George. Take a listen. It's an honour to welcome onto Frogs Hollow TV for the first time the rising star of Westlime Motorsport, Sam Commins. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Firstly, congratulations on your incredible run at the recent St George 399. After the first two sections, I think you were sitting around third in class and 10th outright. You must have been very happy with your weekend in Queensland, mate.
Oh, it was awesome. Couldn't have really asked for much more, to be honest. Car was good, lock went good, everything went real good, to be honest. It was good.
You said earlier you had a couple of early issues. What were they? Just with the car or just trying to get used to the different terrain?
Wasn't really sure what it'd do over all the gill guides and that.
Mm-hmm.
And once we sort of figured that out, we got into the first speed zone and went to turn the fuel pump on. And we must have missed the button or something. So by the time we got there, the second lap, we had 1 bar of fuel and we didn't think we were going to get home.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And the Loveday 400 was your first off-road event as a driver, which is only around 6 weeks ago now, and you're still only 15 years of age, incredibly. So you can't actually enter a national event as yet. It's been a pretty cool experience so far for you.
Oh, yeah, it's been awesome. I couldn't really ask for much more again. It's so much fun. I love it.
Navigated with your dad there for a few years, and he finished third at the Don River Dash actually only 12 months ago, which was obviously one of your career highlights. But now you're in the driver's seat, and you never know. Both your father and your Uncle Nick are racing their 7-litre trophy trucks. I think the way you're going, you might be knocking on the door for a drive there, mate.
Yeah, hopefully I need to get a bit quicker in the Can-Am, but yeah, it'd be awesome to drive one of them eventually.
Yeah, and you do much testing around the farm down there, or?
Or try to do it in the 4-seater we got and just try and build pace up a bit in it. But I'd probably only do 30 Ks in it just to do a bit of a shakedown before each round and just see what it'll do if anything's not feeling right. That's all.
Mate, I've got a lot of respect for you and your entire team. I know the new Can-Am was the one your late grandfather raced at Kalgoorlie nearly 12 months ago now before he sadly passed away. I'm sure he'll be watching on there, mate, and very proud of what you're doing. It must be pretty special.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome. I started go-karts when I was, 5 or 4, and with him and with Dad and with Nick, and it was just awesome learning from all of them, and they've definitely all just shaped me into what I am now, I guess.
And you did say you've been in the go-karts. Any other sort of motorsport discipline, or it's just been that?
Oh, I started go-karts when I was 5 and probably did it till I was 9 or 10, I'd say.
Yep.
And then when we got the X3, the 2-seater one, I did spend a fair bit of time in it around the farm.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, just finally got into the 4-seater, and now I'm in the Pro R, which is good, or the Maverick R, sorry. So, yeah.
I know Nick has taken the Brenthal to the Don River Dash this weekend once again, and also see your team today actually has entered all 3 cars in the Kalgoorlie Desert Race again. I'm sure you're looking forward to racing for the first time over in the West.
Oh, yeah, it'd be awesome. I enjoyed the track last year, like I was navigating, but it still seemed like a good, fun Can-Am track.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it'll be good. Hopefully I can still learn a bit more and pick the pace up a bit. And, yeah, just it's the whole reason I'm getting in the car every time, just learn more and see what it'll do.
I appreciate you joining us on Frog Solo TV. Sam, once again, congratulations on your brilliant start to your young off-road career. And I'll see you over in Kalgoorlie.
Yeah, righto. Thank you. That'll be awesome.
No worries, mate. There he goes. Young Sam Commins, a future star of our sport. Thanks again, Sam, for coming on the show, mate, and all the best to you and the entire Westlime Motorsports team for the rest of 2025. Now on to the Mini Pave 250, round 3 of the Motorsport Australia South Australian Off-Road Championship, held last weekend down at Port Germain, hosted by the lovely Ian and Brenda Barkler. And it was Toby Whateley who, after 1,746 days between checkered flags, returned to the winner's circle after a 6-minute victory. And George, it was just one of the best parts of the month of August for me. Toby Whateley, after many trials and tribulations over the last few years in the Can-Am and in the trophy truck, and he's always thereabouts, but to finally cross that line to get a race finish and stand on top of the dial, which I always expect him to do at an event like Port Germain, it was wonderful to see.
Yeah, mate, I couldn't agree more with you. Like, as we said, I think it was the last episode, we're only saying, he's had a rough run. It's been a long time coming, but it's good to see him stand up on that top of that podium. It's been a long time coming.
I reckon it's fantastic. And wink, wink, we wouldn't mind seeing Toby Whateley in the Loveday 4x4 Motorsport Park team up here in Warrior in a few weeks' time, but we'll stay tuned for that. It was great to see Luke Ersedge cross in second in his Sports Lighter Lumicraft. I mean, another competitor. He's done it all. We saw what he did at the Baja 1000 last year. One of the literally nicest guys in Australian off-road who'd do anything for anyone at any time. Another supporter of Frog Solo TV. He finished 7 seconds ahead of Can-Am campaigner Ashley Foote in third spot. So I think they had around 25 starters down there, Jordan. Yeah, it's great to see. I mean, always a fun event at Port Germain. And South Australian numbers, unfortunately, haven't been there this year. We saw, of course, Wanaka and also Mendham have been cancelled in 2025, and that's for a number of reasons. And hopefully in years to come, we'll see them all fit and healthy, George, on the calendar.
Yeah, here's hoping, Tobe. Like, there's nothing better than many cars at races, and unfortunately it just hadn't been that way down there at the moment, but hopefully they'll get their numbers back up and people start getting back out there, eh?
Adrian Gardner in his Honey Badger and Jody Whateley in a Can-Am Maverick R rounded out the Mini Pave 250 top 5, and as always, looked like perfect racing conditions down there in South Australia, and great to see, as I said, Toby Whateley back on the top of a podium. Early in the week, I was able to catch up with the champion himself, Toby Whateley, after his breakthrough win. Enjoy. I'd like to welcome back on the Frog Solo TV, Toby Whateley. How are you, mate?
Good, how are you going?
All right. Firstly, congratulations on your big win last weekend at the Mini Pave 250 down there in South Australia. Must have been a surreal feeling to finally get that monkey off the back, mate.
Nah, it's been a while, eh? Like I said, yeah, finally shook that monkey. Didn't think I'd ever see that checkered flag again, but yeah, we got him.
Tell us about your run. You finished I think there was 4 sections over the weekend down there at Port Germain with a 6-minute advantage over Luke Ersedge. Looked like a flawless weekend watching on, but tell us a bit about your run.
Yeah, no, she was pretty good. We had a good prologue, and mainly the whole aim for the weekend was just to finish the race. So, yeah, we're pretty happy with that. But after the prologue, we had an alternator issue and stuff, and that's where I got one of them off a shippo, and we resurrected that, and that was pretty good for Saturday. And other than that, we just had a bit of a steering rack issue, but we got a bit of old I-beam from out the back of Ian's junk. Even made that and fixed some bits up there and borrowed a rack off someone. And made it more work, so we had to get that checkered flag. So good.
And the track, for those that are unfamiliar, the Port Germain layout, I think it's about 19 Ks. A lot of red and white clay. I know there's a bit of rocky stuff as well. Tell all those at home what it's like to race at the Mini Pave 250.
Yeah, no, it's a good track. It keeps you on your toes. It's reasonably flat. It's sort of out on a big sort of salt flat, I guess. It's on under King Tide. On King Tide, it goes underwater a bit of it because it's pretty close to the ocean. So yeah, it's pretty tight and twisty. Well, not so much tight, but very twisty. But it has for in a truck. It's not real rough. So it was a good event just to do a bit of testing and stuff. And yeah, really fun track though.
Oh, yeah, I went down in 2022. Loved my weekend down there. Ian and Brenda Barker put on a great show. No, it's one of your family's favourite events on the calendar. What makes it so special to compete at Port Germain?
You know, I always love supporting Ian and Brenda. They've always been really good to us, and Ian's helped me out a lot. Anything you want, he'd give you the shirt off his back if you needed it. So it's always good just to go and support him and, you know, put a bit of money back in his pocket and keep him motivated to keep going.
And you and the family, mate, just come off another successful running the ORC round, the Love Day 400. Despite the weather on the first sort of 24 or so hours was pretty shitty, but other than that, mate, it was a flawless event and everything went well your end.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Just obviously spewing about the weather. You know, didn't get all the spectators that were meant to be coming, but yeah, you can't help the weather, eh? But I think as for racing, everyone was pretty happy at the end of the day, and yeah, made a good track.
Yeah, no, I agree. Now that you finally got that finishing curse off the back, any other plans for the year? Or you just sort of sit back and wait for 2026 to come, mate?
Yeah, not real sure yet. Probably just wait for 2026, I reckon. I'm going to about start doing a bit of work soon, I reckon, through the summer months. So just get ready for that, and then maybe look at doing the Oz rounds next year or something. We haven't really worked it out, just sort of play it by ear, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, mate, that's all we have time for tonight on Frogs Hollow TV. Congratulations again on not only your finish, but your the big outright win down at the Mini Pave 250. And all the best to you and the team for the rest of the year and beyond, mate.
Cool, thank you. Cheers.
There is Toby Whateley. Since our last episode, George, there have been many events across the country, mate, and we'll delve quickly into a couple of these that have taken place right now. Firstly, the Dondingalong Off-Road Challenge was held in early August over at Kempsey, and well, lordy, what a wild and wet weekend. Bucketed down literally, I believe, for nearly 60-70% of the event. And it was Queensland newcomer Cameron Von Bohm who claimed the 2-second victory over his good friend Conroy Devine, with track owner Jake Megaloconomus locking down third spot. It was side-by-side crews who closed out the podium. But, George, I think the biggest talking point of that weekend was the wild weather.
Yeah, man, definitely the wild weather. Like, I watched a fair bit of that live stream, and it was wild and wet. There's no other words for it.
I think someone said they had over up to nearly 200 mils of rain over the course of the couple of days. Like, it was extraordinary footage, really. And Jake and his family ownership of that property, so they've just said let's race, which is great. Big storm come through on Saturday afternoon, which did some damage, I believe, a couple of fallen limbs and onto some vehicles, and there was a bit of a quick evacuation from the actual track itself. Lost nowhere in town, had power for most of the night, so everyone was scrambling to try and find a motel room, get dry and get things closed, and ready for the next day. But I mean, I don't think it rained all day Sunday, so it's just quite extraordinary. But side-by-sides I think, filled the top 4 spots. I think Chris Holgate was in 4th, and then Dave Chandler rounded out that top 5. So, interesting weekend, that's for sure. And it's been a pretty wet and, wild 2025 New South Wales Championship. So, hopefully, Warriata in a few weeks will be a bit of a dry point and they can get some clean racing in. Yeah,
let's hope so anyway, mate. Like, the rain's good for everyone, but sometimes it's just too much.
100%. The Alice Springs 12-hour Enduro was also held early last month, with the 2-car team format once again proving quite the challenge. 7 teams entered to do battle with a 62-kilometre layout, and the event equates to about 3 Finke Desert races. So that's an interesting point as well. I read that in Alice Springs Off-Road Club media release post the event, Jordan. To think that these crews are doing up to 1,000 kilometres of racing on that 12 hours on that Sunday it's a massive effort, and I think it's a bit of a everyone knows about the Alice Springs 12-hour enduro, but if we get some more teams to that event over the years, I think it can become something huge again.
I think it can become something big too. Like, geez, that 1,000 k's, that's a long race on a Sunday, mate. But yeah, it's definitely solid.
We might see a Bachelor and Connolly Smith entry in the future. That'd be pretty cool. Take a team.
He is hoping anyway.
At the end of 12 hours, 17 laps, and over 1,000 kilometres later, it was the Jimco Express team of Lockie and Tim Weir who collected the win over the Drive Right team, who completed 15 official laps. I think that was Darren Wright in his Sportslight car, and the driver team, who have that little Super 1650. Another excellent 12-hour bowl reports, Jordan. Definitely, as I said, one of the most value for money, kilometre-wise events in the country. And we've seen a lot of, I think Cole Havey was there the year before last. We've seen quite a few Southerners head up to Alice Springs for that one. And I know Rusty and Jody Bell used to commentate that religiously up there. So, I mean, it's one of those events you want to try and get off your bucket list, and you never know what next year will hold.
Well, yeah, mate, you're not wrong, but geez, just can't get over that 1,000 k's, mate. Like, that's solid. But hats off to them for even getting over that, mate. Like, that's a lot of kilometres in a seat of a race car. Wow.
We'll also look back at the David Larder Memorial Day Night Enduro at Beachport and the Three Springs 240, which was hosted by the Griffith Off-Road Club in our next episode. Now, George, on our only preview on tonight's episode, this weekend's big one, the 2025 Don River Dash, Round 7 of the Queensland Mickey Thompson ARB Off-Road Championship, held in the beautiful Whitsundays township of Bowen, and 88 starters, the reverse grid format, 300 kilometres of racing, perfect weather predicted. It's going to be another cracker edition, mate.
Well, I think it'll be a great weekend up in the Bowen Basin, and as you just said, it's going to be nice sunny weather for them, hopefully, and geez, I like that idea of the reverse grid. Should be good going, I reckon.
Yeah, it's always fascinating. I mean, I've been lucky enough to be there the last 2 years, called the action alongside the Currans in 2024, and a great weekend really is. The hospitality of the Bowen Township, the Burna Off-Road Club put in a massive show. I think they've got about 220 bikes again, I believe, this year. Both disciplines. But in the car field, I mean, great lineup. Last year's champion Kent Battle will be there in his Element Prodigy, of course, V8 powered, multi-time champion Talbot Cox will be back in his Racer after a couple of frustrating runs for him in the Don River, so keep an eye on Talbot Cox. Last year's Gundy champ Clayton Chapman's a big one for me, heading up to Don River after a couple of years away from that event. Drew Callender, Kai Camilleri. Last year's day one leader, Nick Commins, has overcome his little mechanical gremlin at the St George 399. Trent Callender, Kevin Knott, Brent Smoothing, his all-wheel drive Mason, Brett Comiskey, Tony Falaba, Jamie Knight, many others. There's a massive field of side-by-sides, I think around 28 or 29 of those heading up to North Queensland. It's a big one, George, always is. And who's your tip?
Well, I've got a few tips, actually. I've got Kai Camilleri. I think he's not far off that breakthrough, mate. I think he can be right up there. Talbot Cox, as you said, he's won it a couple of times now, and he's hard to rule out. We've got Brent Smoothie. I think he can get it done in the sand in that all-wheel drive Mason. Mm-hmm. But Trent Callender, mate, can't ride him off either. Like, I think he can really send that thing through there, eh?
Yeah. And I believe this year there's a fair bit of water in the river as well. Obviously, they've had a fair bit of rain up, or basically up and down the whole East Coast and sort of the whole year, really. So that could make things very interesting. They've had a couple of wet years in the past, but it's been going since, I think, 2018 was the first one, the Don River. I'm actually going with the defending champion, Kent Battle. I know he had that mechanical drama at the Fink around 40 k's in on his run down Apachula in June. He doesn't do a lot of races, Kent Battle, but when he's in that river, he just hammers the tongs, and the in-car for him last year was superb, and I think he can go back-to-back. Talbot Cox will be right up there. North Queensland's favourite son, of course, Michael Marson, will be there in his little Class 10 car. Talbot Cox, he'll be chopping at the bit to get another title. And Nick Commins, I think his attitude towards life, his attitude towards off-road racing, he just loves it, always smiling. I mean, I saw him, had a couple of drinks with him, a couple of beers with him at the pub on the Saturday night at St George. A little engine drama put him out there, still smiling. I mean, it's just what it is, and he just knows to get back on the horse and go again. I think he'll be pushing hard in the Don River. And a roughie for me, I know you like Trent Callender, but I like his father, Drew Callender. I think he'll be pushing that ex-Marson racer very hard. I've also gone Zach Marsh to win the side-by-side class. It's a big field. He's in the new Can-Am. He showed some extraordinary pace over at St George last weekend. I think he is the man to beat. Dan Dunn, though, will challenge him in the X3 and he's last year's champion. So that's a wrap on tonight's show, George. Thanks again for joining me from sunny Gunnedah. Good luck to all those competing at the Don River Dash this weekend, but more importantly, stay tuned to the next episode of Frog Solo TV. Cheerio.